Older men, younger women. Have you ever considered dating a woman who's younger than you, maybe even substantially younger than you? Well, in this video, we're going to go over the pros, cons, and risks of dating a younger woman and what she's thinking about dating an older man. So first of all, what's the acceptable age gap when dating someone younger? Well, really, as long as she's of legal age, then it is entirely up to you, and it's based on your values, belief systems, long-term goals to see if you're actually compatible. Now, this is talking about longer-term relationships. Of course, if you're just interested in a shorter-term relationship or a very short-term, perhaps a one-night relationship, then these are probably not going to apply. However, if you really like her, or if that one night relationship is really great, then that's going to cloud your judgment and you're going to ignore some of the red flags. And we'll talk about those in just a moment. But before we get into that, let's just go over a few of the things that you want to consider for long-term relationships. So the first thing is chemistry. For a younger woman dating an older man, chemistry isn't just about looks. She is more concerned about your character than the package that you come in. So we'll go over that a little bit more later, maybe. Now that doesn't mean she doesn't notice your looks, but if she's a younger woman who's interested in an older man, then she's not going to expect you to look like Chad or Tyrone. Character and personality traits are not one and the same. And your values, beliefs, don't have to be the same, but they have to be compatible. They have to align. The next area we want to look at is long-term goals. So these are really foundational. These three things are foundational in all relationships, but you want to particularly pay attention when you are dating a younger woman, because first thing into consideration for long-term goals is children. Of course, the younger she is, the less likely she is to have already had children. She won't know if she necessarily wants children. She may already have children, and these are all things that you have to think about if you're considering a relationship with someone who's a lot younger than you. Along the same lines is work and retirement. Are you in retirement? Are you getting close to retirement? Or are you still active, in the workforce? And what about her? So if she's still working and has to work to be able to pay for her own expenses, to pay her bills and whatnot, and you're ready to retire and go out and play, if she can't afford to retire along with you, are you prepared to pick up the slack in order for her to be able to do that? Definitely a consideration. Yes, we're getting to the financial aspect. So along with that is how much money do you have, or are you bringing in, versus how much money does she have, or is she bringing in? Is she able to contribute enough to make it worthwhile being with her? If she can't contribute as much as you need to have a lifestyle that you want, again, are you willing to pick up the slack and go along with the risks that entails, which could be obligations down the road if things don't work out and you end up breaking up? As well, in terms of lifestyle, are you both on the same page? Do you want to travel or do you want to, nest, or do you want to move out to the country and start a farm or whatnot? Like, are these sort of lifestyle aspects things that are going to be compatible now and in the future? And of course, there's intimacy. So do you have the same sex drive? Are you on the same page? And if not, are you able to sort of navigate and negotiate the compromises you may need to make in order to have that fit? Because obviously it's still going to be an important factor. Even if it's not just the act, there's going to be a level of sexual intimacy that you're going to need to be on the same page with. And just before we get into what she's thinking about when considering dating an older man, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, click all so you don't miss any of my Just the Tip Tuesday videos. Now, with that being said, let's continue on. So some of the potentially negative things that she's thinking about when considering dating an older man are to do with, one, sexual ability. Are you on the same page? Can you still do what she still wants to be able to do in that arena? And if not, are you willing to get the blue steel pill to be able to make that happen? And the next thing is life expectancy. If she's sincerely interested in you because she cares about you and loves you, or this is the goal of the relationship, then she's going to be wondering how long you're going to last. How healthy are you? If she really genuinely cares about you, she's going to want you to live a long time so that she can share her life with you. Along with those lines, your health and care plans. Is she going to have to take care of you down the road? All things considered equal. I mean, anybody could get injured or some kind of disease along the way. She could as well. But the law of averages says that you're probably going to have health issues before she does based on age. And that's what we're talking about here. So those are things that she's going to consider. Another thing she'll consider is your mental and intellectual capabilities as you age, because you lose brain cells along the way if you don't exercise them. So be sure to get your choline. Anyways, there's a song I use for choline, which helps your brain, but you can also eat egg yolks. I have a great ice cream recipe that includes egg yolks. Anyways, so she's going to be considering your mental capabilities as you age together. And then the fifth thing that she's going to be considering on the potentially negative aspect is generational relating. So you're going to be not being able to relate necessarily in terms of the, what's the word? I forget the word. I need more choline. So anyways, the idea is songs of your generation versus songs that she's listening to. Things that you grew up with, she's not going to be able to understand or relate to. So that may or may not factor into whether or not you're going to be able to have a compatible relationship, but there are definitely things that she's going to think about. However, on the positive side of things, some of the positive things that if she's interested in dating an older man will be that along with age, potentially comes sexual experience and skill, especially if you've ever been in a longer term relationship and you've been a caring lover. So that's definitely one thing that if she's ever had any experience with an older man, she will know that that could potentially be a positive. The next thing that is a potential positive for a younger woman dating an older man is your maturity and certainty, especially again compared to younger men or men her own age. Next thing that she will see as a positive is, along those lines, self-assurance. As we age, especially, well, maybe not especially men, but definitely men, as you get older, you kind of get to a point where it's like, meh, it is what it is. So there's sort of a level of self-assurance where you're not constantly second-guessing yourself and you're just kind of getting more comfortable in your own skin and your own way of being in the world. And that's really attractive to a younger woman. And along with that is wisdom. So, of course, you can't have wisdom without having had experience. And usually the wisdom we gain from experience comes from bad experiences, which means you've learned something, which means that she can rely on you to probably get through difficult or troubled times or have some reasonable life experience advice that she wouldn't necessarily get from someone her own age. And finally, leadership. So the more wisdom and certainty and self-assurance you have as you age, the more that she'll be able to rely on you for leading the relationship and leading in life. And those are all really, really attractive qualities for any woman. So in other words, you're not some starving artist, young buck, struggling student in debt up to his eyeballs, not sure of where he's going in life, and having to prove himself before being able to settle down. So that's actually another little bonus point, is that she's probably more certain that if you're ready for a relationship, you actually are really ready for a relationship and commitment. You're not just saying it, whereas you might not really be ready like some younger men. They might say they are, but they really don't know what they want or what they're looking for. And so it's a greater risk to be with someone her own age. Now, of course, there's always going to be young women who are shallow and or gold diggers. So, if you're only interested in a temporary relationship, or you don't mind not being truly cared for, then you can go for the hoes and gold diggers. There's definitely many of those out there. Some are really hot, so the more money that you have, the more you can afford those ones. And the only thing is that you're just not going to feel like that she really cares about you. The other thing to consider when dating a younger woman is that people have preferences, just like you might have preferences. So that's okay. Don't take it personally. Just move on to the next. More likely, women who are interested or open to dating older men probably have daddy issues. Either their father left them when they were young or died. That's what happened with my dad. I can speak to this personally because I married a man who was 16 years older than I am. And so, yeah, that's my personal experience. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means that she may be looking for or open to that sort of father figure that comes with being with an older man. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you do want to look for signs that she's damaged, emotionally damaged. So watch my Damaged Women video or playlist on narcissists, because just because she's interested or open to dating someone older, if she does have issues that she hasn't resolved, could be trouble, could be big red flag. No, you don't want that. Okay, stay tuned. My next video, I am going to share with you how to attract a younger woman.